Hi, let's go over the main things you need to know about the 4 main healer builds in Throne of Liberty in less than 4 minutes. Like all other specializations in Throne of Liberty, you can make a build out of any weapon combination, but only a set amount are considered viable for ZvZ, small skill fights, and 1v1s. I'll be focusing on ZvZ healer builds since some of the most important fights in this game are ZvZ based like Siege, Boonstone and Riftstone Wars, and fights at Conflict Field and Arc bosses. Now let's get into an overview of each of the viable healer ZvZ builds. Let's start off with Wand SNS Healer. These are the following pros and cons for a Wand SNS Healer. If I were to highlight which of these qualities are the most important, it would be the following. When looking at Wand Staff Healer, these are the pros and cons I would list, and these are some of the important considerations that I would highlight. When considering Wand Dagger healers, these are their pros and cons. And if I were to highlight the more important qualities from this list, it would be the following. And now for Wand Longbow Healer. These are some of the pros and cons for Wand Longbow Healer. And these are some of the important considerations to understand if you want to play this build. Now let's get into rankings a bit for the 4 meta healer ZvZ builds and a bit more details about each. Again, those builds are Wand SNS, Wand Staff, Wand Dagger, and Wand Longbow. If I were to rank them for early game green and blue gear PvP, I'd assign an S to Wand SNS, A+ to Wand Dagger, an A to Wand Staff, and B- to Wand Longbow. For T1 late game PvP and onwards, which is the more important fights, the rankings would change to S+ for Wand SNS, A+ for Wand Staff, B- for Wand Dagger, and C+ for Wand Longbow. You can hopefully understand my rankings as the video goes on, but I won't speak to them specifically in this video to save time. When it comes to ZvZ PvP for healers, the qualities to look for to consider a build strong are as follows. Number 1, survivability and escapes. Number 2, defense stat buffs that you can build on with gear. Number 3, healing bonuses. Number 4, party and self peels. Number 5, AoE damage. Number 6, AoE CC. Number 7, mana sustain. And finally, number 8, party buffs. I believe Wand SNS satisfies these qualities as follows. And Wand Staff satisfies these qualities as follows. Wand Dagger meets some of these qualities as follows. And Wand Longbow also meets some of these qualities as follows. Overall, when it comes to the PvP qualities that you want your healers to have in a ZvZ, Wand SNS has 7 of these qualities, Wand Staff has 6 of these qualities, Wand Dagger has 4 of these qualities, and Wand Longbow has 3 of the ZvZ qualities. This doesn't mean that you just overstack your roster with Wand SNS healers, because the other healer builds have aspects to their builds, to their kits, that you'd want in your roster. Right now in KR, most rosters just have Wand Staff and Wand SNS healers only, and this is mainly because they have the best party peels and self peels to keep yourself and your party mates alive, and then Wand Staff specifically because it has the most AoE damage, which is necessary to win ZvZ fights. But sometimes you might see a Wand Dagger healer sprinkled in, like maybe 1 to 3. It's very little, and those are because those players probably play those builds exceptionally well, and they're just usually AoE debuffers. They play around their stealths, and that's mainly it, besides their really big burst heals. So that's an overview of the healer meta in just under 4 minutes. And all of this will likely change on July 23rd because they're introducing a new tripod system that will drastically change all skills for every single weapon in the game. I just wanted to make this guide to help players understand what the current meta looks like, and it'll be easier to compare how that changes come July 23rd. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found this video helpful. Feel free to share if you did. And I'll be working on an updated video when the July 23rd patch hits. And just to give you an idea of what the tripod system will look like, here are 3 skills that they provided a bit of a sneak peek of when it comes to the new tripod system. And as you can see, it's a pretty drastic change that we are anticipating.